from the website that is impossible to find because Chris forgot to do the redirect properly. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 245. I'm Chris.
404.
404. I like that, and you are
Steve.
Steve. I like that, Steve, that you used 404 as a verb in our text communication this afternoon to let me know that when you went to clarkwoods.com/hot,
Which was the old website.
It 404'd you, which is not what was supposed to happen. I had covered the bases in terms of the RSS feed, right? So the RSS feed was designed, which is what goes into iTunes and elsewhere, to redirect to the new feed. But if you just went to the website that we've been advertising for, what, 5 years now? 5 years now, nothing. Nada. Chris was a bad boy. Baby did a bad thing. And I am sorry.
And so you got put in the corner?
Well, I was, yes.
Hold on, let me put the shade down. I got the freaking
Oh, that's no good.
right in my eye.
I was just say, I was doing a little bit of Chris Isaak there. You know, Baby did a bad thing. So I was kind of like, I was like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in that movie where they watch a lot of people fuck.
I put that lamp on too, so we have a little bit of light.
That's me in the corner.
What, that lamp?
That's me in the spot. Like, there's a song about a lamp. Little something in your soul. Is that in the corner? That's not in the corner.
No, well, like, yeah, they might be giants. Birdhouse in your soul is about a nightlight, but that's not really a lamp.
Yeah, but it's not really in the corner, right? Is it?
I mean, where do you, unless you put your power outlets in the corner, which...
Right. Well, you might put them in the corner. I mean, it's close enough, right? It could be on a long wall. It could be on an outlet that's near the corner, so that you can get you have the maximum number of layouts of your room by putting the outlet in the. Ever think about that in terms of like who decides where outlets go? Because I do. Because there are configurations I would like to make of my living area, my living space, that are just impossible because the plugs are in the wrong place. And extension cords, though they are a thing, it's.
Yeah, I mean, we have an extension cord in the living room for where the lamp is, because we want the lamp in the far corner, but the light switch that turns it on and off is in the opposite.
Okay, got it.
So we have to.
You have to jerry rig, right? Is that how it goes?
No. Jerry, you got to rig this. Oh, jeez.
Now, see, is jerry rig a anti-German term? Because jerry was a term for German soldiers, I think in World War II. Might have been World War I as well. But jerry rig, I'm not sure where that.
I thought it was jury rig.
I thought it was jury rig too, but I'm pretty sure it's jerry rig. Would you like me to type really loudly on my keyboard to find out?
No. Let's just get it. Let's hope that somebody emails us about it.
Email us.
Let somebody else do the fucking research.
Let them do the typing, because then only they'll hear the typing.
Yeah.
And nobody else will.
And usually people are okay with the volume of their own typing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something to be said there for. I don't know. We can't hear our own voices. We can't hear. There was not a joke in there, but I was searching really hard for one. I'm gonna have a drink.
Keep searching.
I should mention that as part of the whole hot having its own website, which is horriblyofftopic.com.
All one word.
All one word. I should mention that as part of the new service we're using, we can now be found on the Spotify.
Wow.
Yeah, which I've got to say, now I'm like looking over there. Can you lift up your mug? Not your mug, your cup for a second. I'm trying to remember. It does not mention
Google Play.
So Steve's got a coaster, a genuine hot coaster, and I remember I don't know if it was a draft or if it was just messages that Becky and I were exchanging back to back when she was putting that together. She was asking me if we were on Spotify. And I feel like there was a draft that had the Spotify logo on there because it looked really neat. And I remember thinking, wow, this looks really neat. I want us to be on Spotify. And at the time, I looked it up and it just was impossible for a normal person to get their podcast on Spotify. I don't know if it's gotten any easier, but this company that now hosts our podcast, which is transistor.fm, they had me check a checkbox. This morning I checked it. This afternoon it was on Spotify. So
Do you think we'll be like on like some sort of algorithm? So that, like,
that'd be nice.
So hey, go out there if you have a nice little Spotify app and listen to us on Spotify, and then listen to something else on Spotify and like them both, or whatever the hell you do on Spotify.
I like this.
And then people that like whatever it is you just listened to also liked.
Yes, there's a reason that you're the brains of this outfit.
Okay. I'm assuming that's how shit like that works.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that sounds like how an algorithm works.
Yes. So listen to at least 2 things on Spotify, right. Our show and something else that's good.
Now, I'm wondering how that might backfire if we've got like the one Spotify listener who, listens to us and, I don't know. How could it backfire for us? How could it backfire for them? If they mostly listen to, let's say, classical music, and then they go in and they listen to this one episode. I don't know who in our audience is a classical music fan, but let's just say there is somebody. And they go in and they listen to Horribly Off Topic, and then all of a sudden in their music recommendations, they start getting lots of Ween. For instance, I don't know what could happen.
5 instance, I don't know.
Yeah, but then for us, if they are an avid podcast listener, I guess there's really no downsides for us. I was gonna think, but then I didn't.
Oh, good.
Bullet
dodged.
I was gonna say that if the person listened to This American Life and then us, that could be bad. I'm like, no, it couldn't.
I mean, I listen.
That would be all right.
I mean, I don't listen to our show, but I listen to This American Life.
It might help if you listen to our. Well, you download it at least.
I do.
Right?
I download it every week.
And then do you mark it as played or
no?
Whatever?
I just keep it in there. I did listen. Like I was when I was on a podcast shortage, which I no longer am. I'm 3 months behind now.
Got it. Yep.
But when I was in a like sort of like I'm not sure which podcast that I want to listen to right now.
Right.
I was listening to our older episodes,
which now you can listen to all of them back to the very beginning
until we hit.
No.
All
that's another of the reasons that I moved us to this service. All of them, as far back as the eye can see, forever and ever.
Okay, so you can listen to us for all the way back to episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were a little rough around the edges at that point. We weren't.
People like to see things develop.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It was definitely a different time.
Mm-hmm. It was a time before.
No, it was like it's funny because like
it was a gentler time.
I was talking. No, it wasn't.
It was a time when we didn't have world leaders suggesting that we could stop hurricanes with nuclear bombs.
I thought you weren't going to fucking talk about that, Chris.
No, I'm only bringing it up in the sense of that's what I meant by it was a gentler time.
Oh, okay. I'm just talking about like it's a gentler time as
there was
you and I are gentler people.
Yes, there was a year and a half where the current state of the world was gentler is what I'm saying.
Right, and then we had to course correct because we were like complete assholes because the world was nicer,
Right. Yep. And we were like, maybe we should be better men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
Thank you,
terrible
Pearl Jam, for telling us to be better man. Yeah.
Thank you, terrible orange man, for being an explosive shithead, in making us want to be better because of it.
Was explosive shithead ever a Garbage Pail Kid card?
I don't think they ever had curses on there.
No, that's a good point. Atom Bomb was, but you could imagine Atom Bomb exploding poop out of his head if you'd really like.
Yeah, he might be exploding poop. He might be in the middle of a hurricane trying to stop it.
He might.
Is he the one that's on the cover of all of them?
He was on like the series 1 covers or yeah.
Like I think he was on every single cover for every
Did they have the same one for every series?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, that's another thing someone else can look up for us.
Yeah, I started typing and then I was like, nope. Try to keep it on the DL. I wanted to write down atom bomb. Maybe that will remind me. I'm going to say, maybe what I'll do is I'll just try to gently type at like 10 minutes. We talked about atom bomb, and then
when you're writing notes at this new awesome website, horriblyofftopic.com.
Yeah, my notes, which are one sentence usually with 3 phrases.
Wow.
Because I try.
What the fuck were we talking about?
We were talking about Gentler Time, going back to the very beginning of our podcast. You were saying something about, before all of that, you were saying something, and then as an aside, you said to me...
Well, even even as far as 10 years ago, like things had changed. And things have changed significantly since I mean, for those of you that listened last week, that I was about to turn 40.
You were.
For those of you that are listening this week, I have since turned 40.
40. Welcome to the club.
Yes, cool. I love it.
You are old like the rest of us.
I still feel the same, although, oh boy, howdy, did I hungover Sunday. We can get into that a little bit later.
We should.
Well, yeah, 10 years ago, it was I remember listening to Opie and Anthony a bunch, and even as recently as because I kind of stopped around the time we started doing the show.
Yeah.
I think that was when the whole hullabaloo... I think the hullabaloo with Anthony happened right before the show started.
As I recall.
So that's when I was just done with it. And, it was sort of foolish at the time. I mean, Anthony is an asshole, and it's very much apparent now. Right. But it was sort of... I sort of kind of was okay with him being a racist asshole because he was funny.
Right.
But then when he stopped doing Opie and Anthony, he just became a racist asshole and stopped being funny. And so it was just oh, okay.
Yeah. It's funny, or it's not funny. I don't know. What people who are funny will get a pass. People who are entertaining will get a pass. So not even just funny. People who are fantastic athletes or great writers, they've traditionally gotten a pass in the past, and not so much anymore.
Right.
Yeah. That's. You made me think of a thing I wanted to mention because I was at not all of your party. I was there for most of your party. I was not there for the after party.
Yes.
But during your party, so this past weekend,
this was a surprise party, which I guessed the day before.
Right.
But Becky didn't tell me until we turned off the highway. She's like, "Oh, I want to go take a pee at Andy Man's." I'm like, "Oh, really? Huh?
Oh, really?
This is the way we're going, huh?"
Mm-hmm. So where did she say you were going?
Andy Man's is a bagel shop right off of 495.
Got it. But were you theoretically on the way to?
We were heading up 495.
Okay, yeah. To do what?
With I gotta say, Saturday. Traffic on 495 around noontime. Lovely.
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic.
It was it wasn't as bad as the rehearsal dinner.
No.
I think that was one of the worst. That was about a year ago when we had the rehearsal dinner. Yeah. That was I think one of the worst traffic experiences I've ever had on that road.
And that's saying something because Route 495, we're getting a little local for you, has been under construction for 20 straight years. That highway is just a mess, and it's always a mess. So when you say that it was the worst you've ever seen, that's yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't obviously that bad, but it was just at least that day, that it was a Friday afternoon, so people were leaving fucking work. So I get why. I left earlier than I left with what I thought was enough time.
Yes. I think we all did. We were all a little bit.
I even left a little bit earlier than I thought I should, just because I'm like, oh yeah, maybe there'll be some traffic.
Yeah. I mean, it was it the what is former, at least in my university, is formerly known as Columbus Day weekend. It's the fall weekend. Was it that weekend?
Yes.
Okay, so
that might have added to it.
Can also exacerbate it, but still, even it was a Friday. It was still,
and then it was around the time when there was a lot of those gas explosions in the Andover area, and I think Methuen and whatnot, which is right in the area we were driving towards, basically.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the surface roads were closed down, so a lot more people were on the highway to get around.
But this weekend, this past Saturday, the only thing that was sort of against you was. There is traffic that goes up 495, less so up 495 than up Route 3 and 93, heading towards New Hampshire.
I'm assuming it was beach traffic, because I could not think of another reason why everybody would be driving north on that road.
But that I will say, as somebody who has been roped into going up to those places on Saturdays, I don't know why we never leave earlier or later for these big family things, but that traffic, I feel like, is usually letting up, at least in that portion of the road, by noon.
It's just, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again until everybody has tuned out of the podcast. Okay. People don't know how to fucking drive.
No, not at all.
When you're merging onto the highway,
yes,
don't all be in the first lane, bumper to bumper.
Right.
If the traffic is moving slowly because of the merging,
right,
let the fucking people in, because if you're stopped and they're stopped, no one's fucking moving. Right. You have to merge. You have to do it. It's essential for everybody to fucking continue moving.
Yeah.
Also, don't change lanes if you're not going to get off the fucking highway
in a traffic jam.
Well, no, in general.
Just in general. Okay.
So, if you if traffic is at a normal clip, middle lane. If you want to get around, if you want to go faster, go around to the fast lane and get back into the middle lane.
Unless you have to get into the lane to go around the fucking assholes who are blocking both the fast lane and the travel lane.
Number 3, fast lane. If somebody is ripping up behind you in the fast lane,
get the fuck out of their way.
Let them go. Because guess what? You may want to be vindictive or an asshole or something about it and not let them go fast.
Yeah.
But there's probably going to be a state trooper somewhere on the highway. If they're driving 100 down the fucking road, guess what? They're getting bagged, and you can drive at a reasonable amount over the speed limit and not have to worry about them because they're getting a fucking mega ticket.
Well, I would just point out that sometimes the person speeding up behind you is the state trooper, and in that case, if you're driving down the Mass Pike at night in 1996, don't pull over into the travel lane and hold your middle finger up to your cheek. I'm just going to say, don't do that, because then you might get pulled over too, Chris. So yes, stay out of the fast lane unless you are actually passing somebody, or the traffic in the middle lane is going so obnoxiously slow for a long stretch.
Yeah, so
you're still kind of passing somebody.
Yeah, if you are actively passing people, and if there's a shit ton of people in the middle lane, and you're passing all of them.
Yeah.
You stay in the fast lane until you get into a middle lane situation where you are driving at the speed you want to drive at.
But let me throw this hypothetical at you.
What's that?
So you are...
Because, if those fast people get to their destination faster, then they're going to be off the fucking road.
Yes. So here's a hypothetical. You, Steve, are in the fast lane trying to pass a long stretch of traffic that's kind of just barely not going fast enough for you in the middle lane. But somebody comes zipping up behind you, and they are just not letting up. Do you then... try to sneak your way back into the middle lane?
I will, in a safe way, get back into the middle lane and then let the guy get around me, and then I'll go back when he's already gone around.
I'm glad to hear that, because that's I'm glad to hear that I'm not alone in. Yeah, I'll go back over and then zoom back. I do have a nasty habit of of passing on the right if there's no other option.
I do as well, and I don't like doing it because
I hate doing it.
It's shitty, but like if people like.
But
it's fun, like it's fine to like to be like the safety patrol on the fucking road, but that's what the cops are for.
You are not the safety patrol. Stop trying to be a fucking cop.
Yeah, you're not a cop. You're not like we have some personal freedoms here to drive really fast, and there are police officers on the road to stop us and give us tickets, or like if you're driving double the speed limit, arrest you.
Right.
For going that fast.
Yes. Or if you happen... no, I'm not going to go there.
Or if you happen to flip them off.
Well, I was going to say if you happen to be of a different skin color, you could be obeying all of the traffic laws, and they still might pull you over and shoot you rather than arrest you.
So yeah, please don't ever speed.
Yeah. At any rate, so Saturday, I think, there were people going up north. I think there were...
I mean, like, how many people are coming to my party?
But you didn't know it was your party yet.
Yeah, I did know it was the
party. But I think after you all had passed, there was a series of back-to-back accidents because how much before the party start time were you there?
What time was the party start time?
I think the start time was... I want to say it was 1.
We got there after 1.
Okay. All right. So maybe you even were impacted by the first. Did you pass an accident though?
Wait, I didn't see any accidents.
Okay.
I just saw magical 495 traffic jams that happened for no fucking reason. Then the fucking road opens up for fucking 10 minutes, and or maybe a quarter of a mile, maybe a mile, and then you're like, oh, we're back to fucking like just gridlock.
Yeah.
And then opens up again.
Yeah, like what?
Gridlock open. What? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Because like. If everybody's moving past that point, everybody behind should also be fucking moving.
Right. No, it's that one person put on their brakes.
That's why I say stay in your lane.
Right.
If you're not going to fucking be getting off the highway. Because if you're zipping it, every time someone like sees brakes, they will like instinctively put on their brakes. Mm-hmm. And so if you're switching lanes a lot, and so you get in front of somebody and that requires them to put on their brakes.
Right.
The people behind them will also put on their brakes, and that will slow down traffic.
And that's the part of my occasionally passing on the right that I feel the worst about, which is, I'm just trying to go at a normal speed. Somebody is sitting there blocking the fast lane. Everybody in the middle lane is going at a speed that basically makes it impossible.
Basically similar. Yeah. A similar speed.
So I'll in that not rare enough instance.
No, the very common instance that someone is driving 50 and a 65 in the fucking fast lane.
Yeah.
We're not in Europe. That's not the slow lane.
Isn't that just in the UK? Isn't it just like I thought
in Ireland it was the opposite.
In Ireland, it was the opposite?
Yeah.
The Republic of Ireland?
The Republic of Ireland. Okay. We weren't in Northern Ireland.
So maybe it's the British Isles in general. Does that encompass?
I don't know. I haven't been to the rest of Europe.
Okay, I don't. At any rate, there was my Apple Maps was having the damnedest time deciding what was the best way for me to get to your party, and it was trying to tell me, keep on this road. It's the fastest route, but I know fucking 495, and I could see up ahead like dead stop. It said, "Oh, there's an accident up ahead, but you're still on the fastest route." I'm like, "Fuck, no, I'm not." I may be in the fastest route for about 15 more seconds, and then it's going to be a dead stop. So I got off, took a roundabout way, and I was there.
Down 110 or something.
I went down. I got on to Route 93, went up to 213.
So you did the loop?
The loop, and then came back over onto 495 once I was into Haverhill, where I once went to college.
Wow.
Yeah. But then eventually I got to your party. And before we talk about your party, I just want to come back to what I was going to say like 10 minutes ago, which is that... so this weekend was the D23 Expo, which is Disney's. Every 2 years they put on a big to-do.
And they're just like, hey, look what we bought this year.
Sometimes...
Pretty soon you'll be working for us.
Okay. Yes, and I'm gonna give you a guess as to who is going to work for them that would be of interest to you, because they were announcing all sorts of things this weekend, and I happen to be in the in the shitter.
Did they buy Shueisha now?
No. It's a person who's going to be on a Disney thing. But I was in the shitter, and with where there were no lights, which we can talk about. And I saw this news pop up, and I was like, I gotta tell Steve this, and I'm like, no, I don't. It's his fucking birthday, and we're playing pinball, and this is stupid. I'll tell him on the show.
Okay, perfect. Get him. Let's wait a couple of days before we get him upset.
No. I think you'll be happy. So there is a show coming to Disney Plus, the streaming service, helmed by Jon Favreau. In the Star Wars universe, it's called The Mandalorian, and your buddy Bill Burr has landed a spot on this show. Yes. So Bill fucking Burr is on it, and Patton Oswalt was all mad. Well, he wasn't mad about it, but he's playfully mad about it, and his fans were ribbing him. He's like, how come Bill got on a Star Wars show before you did? I don't know anything else about it.
I don't know either. Well, like that's pretty funny because Bill is constantly kind of like ribbing people for being like, Star Wars nerds. So
right, I can't wait. This show seems like it will be. Jon Favreau, people forget.
Jon Favreau.
Not to be confused with Jon Favreau, the speechwriter for Obama, who's on. I did get confused the first time I ever heard this. He's one of the guys on what used to be Keeping It 1600, and now it's whatever the fuck it's called, Pod Save America. Anyway, that's a guy named Jon Favreau.
I've seen him on the Twitter.
Yeah, so this Jon Favreau, the director
/ guy that was in, what was it, Singles?
Yes. Well, he is it Singles? He wrote and directed that. Is my recollection. Jon Favreau has got his start doing not Singles. Which one did
Swingers?
Swingers.
There we go.
Swingers. He got to start doing Swingers with what's his butt, who became way more popular as an actor than Favreau did. And Favreau kind of ended up behind the camera, and he did Iron Man and all of those movies, and now he's become known for The Jungle Book and The Lion King and shit like that. But he got started in comedy. And so I love the idea that I don't think Bill Burr was the only comedian that I remember seeing be mentioned as a member of this cast. So I just love the idea that maybe Jon Favreau is going to do.
I mean, Patton Oswalt has been in a lot of like. I mean, he was in fucking Shield. Like, he was in. Like, he's been on Rick and Morty. He's been like on like.
I think it was all playful. People were poking fun at him, and he's like, he was having fun with it, and I'm just interested to see. Like,
I'm interested in this.
To see now, Bill Burr have an accent, strong. I can't remember. I've heard.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty Boston-esque.
I wonder if they'll get him to change it, or if they'll just be a particular place in the Star Wars universe that sounds like Boston. Like, you're from here, and it sounds like I was gonna say sounds like Southie, but he's not necessarily a Southie.
The Galactic Yankees suck.
So I'll try to find if you're not going to be a Disney Plus subscriber, I will try to find a way to like slip it off the back of a truck.
I think they have a thing where like if you have Hulu and some other thing, you can get Disney Plus and Hulu and like a whole bunch of other things for like not very much more than I'm paying for Hulu now.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I think I might just do that just because
now Bill Burr's on something.
Well, not because of that, but because like I think it's I don't know.
It'll be.
I'm annoyed.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm annoyed. Like I like the fact that there was a reasonable amount of streaming services to subscribe to, but now
Keyword
it's like CBS All Access and NBC Universal blah 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 whatever the fuck else.
Yeah.
And I want to watch AP Bio. But it's going to be on the new streaming service. Like the whole Save AP Bio worked, but it's going to be on the streaming service, not on the fucking network.
Which one? The
NBC one.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I'm like, I don't want to fucking subscribe to all these.
And
I want to support shows that I like, but like, does that mean I have to fucking buy a DVD again?
Well, I mean. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't want to fucking get this service for one fucking show.
Right.
Like I don't want to watch like the I don't want to pay for CBS All Access for Picard.
Yeah, no,
which
I
may be terrible.
Yeah, I don't either, and probably won't. But yeah, it's we all. I say we all, but there was a big to do before even cord cutting became a thing. Right, people were just wishing that they could have the channels they wanted and not the channels that they didn't. Right, they went a la carte, and so then cord cutting became a thing, and a la carte turned into, well, I can get Netflix and I can get most of this stuff.
Yeah,
and
like
then
you could if like we do. We have Netflix, we have Hulu, and we have Amazon, and. There's there's very rare occasion, and we also we actually have cable, so we have HBO and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And so there's a very rare occasion where we can't find what we're looking for. I think the last two that I was having problems with were Dawn of the Dead, the original. I could not find that fucking anywhere, and apparently it's hard to find on DVD as well, or Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And the other one was the first or the original Suspiria. I couldn't find that when I wanted to watch it. I had watched it once, I think when we're still back in Woburn.
Yeah.
But then I tried to watch it recently because I like that Argento aesthetic. And so we watched another one of his films that they had on Amazon, but it was it was different. It wasn't. It wasn't what you were. He hadn't quite it was an earlier film, so he hadn't quite found his voice yet. So you could see little bits of things where that became a thing in Suspiria, but it was not. He wasn't quite done yet.
Right. Well, and I imagine, you tell me if I'm wrong. Even if it was the best thing he'd ever done, it still wasn't exactly what you were looking for. You wanted to watch Suspiria.
Right.
I'm mostly a fan, and I don't know. I don't have a Roku or a Chromecast or any of those things, but I imagine they have something similar.
You have a PlayStation 4, Chris.
Right, no, but I have I have an Apple TV. Was the point I was getting to, and Apple TV's main interface, their TV app, is what I hope that a lot of these places will do, which is that you search for a movie or a TV show, and it shows you all of the places that you could watch it. So if you already have a service, it'll put that first. It'll say, okay, you can watch this on Hulu right now. If you don't, it will give you the option of a service where you could watch it, and or it will give you the option to buy it if iTunes has it for sale. And I feel like that's, in the world we're in now, that's probably the best we can hope for. But even today, Kaylee wanted to watch something. She was in the Amazon app, and she goes in the Amazon app, and she sees this thing, and she says, "Dad, I want to watch this. How do I watch it?" And I'm looking, and I cannot see a play button, right? And I have a suspicion, and I'm like, hold on, let me go upstairs. And sure enough, Amazon lists it. You can buy it or you can rent it, but you can't buy it or rent it on an Apple TV because Apple wants a fucking cut of anything that gets sold on the TV. So Amazon will not sell you anything on the TV because they would have to pay Apple a cut. So if you want to buy or rent it, you got to go upstairs to your fucking computer, buy or rent it, and then it'll show up in your Amazon so that you can watch it. And I mean, I don't want to go any further because I want to talk about your birthday party.
No, I mean, I understand that, but businesses want to make money off of each other, and
yeah, but where I don't want to go further is that other crap came out this weekend to do with businesses and companies and shit, and I'm sick of businesses and companies, and I just want to watch the shit that I want to watch.
I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about Spidey Man, right?
Yes.
And as much as I think it's a bummer, Sony is in a position of power right now, which is rare for them because they took a number of hits.
They are and I feel like they are now exerting the only power they have left.
Right. And so they're basically like, yeah.
We own Spider-Man. We own the rights to Spider-Man because you're stupid fucking company head honchos sold it to us back in the 90s,
Right.
and we are never letting it go. And yeah.
So they're gonna like hopefully they can make a deal, but Disney's gonna have to shell out some cash if they're gonna fucking do it.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they were doing damage control by the end of the weekend. Kevin Feige, who's the producer of Marvel Studios, and Tom Holland, who is, of course, Spider-Man, were both out there at the D23. Tom Holland was there for some other thing he's doing with Disney. And he was saying, you know what, it's gonna be different, but it'll still be cool. So like he's doing damage control from the Sony side, and Kevin Feige was like, you know what, it was never gonna last forever. And how am I feeling? I'm feeling blessed. We got to tell the story we wanted to tell. You know, and maybe it's all posturing. Maybe you're right. Maybe they'll come to a deal. But I just, it's, I mean, that's only the tip of the iceberg. The other thing at D23 that was announced was a gigantic Marvel land that will be in California, but not in Florida, because the idiots who ran Marvel in the 90s sold the theme park rights east of the Mississippi to Universal Studios. So they can't do any Marvel things with any characters you had heard of prior to Guardians of the Galaxy. They can do them, and they are, but they can't do any of the other stuff they want to do in Florida because companies are stupid.
Well, they're not necessarily stupid, Chris. They were just like they didn't have the foresight to think that comic book movies were going to become the thing, because. Like, what comic book movie did well prior to that happening? Like
the Batman movies and the first like couple Chris Reeve Superman movies.
Yeah, but no Marvel property ever took off. I mean, like the only, I mean, there was Howard the Duck.
I mean, yes, aesthetically, Howard the Duck was at a very high level,
but that was critically panned, and
it's because the critics didn't know what they were talking about.
And you know, people that were around our age were like, "This is cool. I saw duck boobs."
And I saw a duck have sex with Leah Thompson.
Yeah. You know, Howard apparently giant dick, size of his entire body.
Oh my god. I would love to watch that movie. I don't know if I could without being drunk, but
yeah, so like that was their first foray into fucking film, and so you know, it didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
And like, so when like, so X-Men was basically
X-Men and the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah, was when they were like, oh, these properties could possibly make some money. But then they even had a couple of false fires. Like they tried Hulk. It was just Hulk.
Yep.
And that was terrible.
Right.
And then they tried again.
Yep.
With Incredible Hulk, right? And that also didn't do well. But that was like after Iron Man, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating, at least for me as a student of these things. I went on. We were driving out west, Western Massachusetts yesterday, and I was on my phone.
While you were driving, perfect.
No, I was in the passenger seat, and I was
leaning out your best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
Yes, and no. No, anyway, so I was looking a lot of this stuff up, and there is a sort of a Wikipedia page, and I forget which one it was, that goes over all of the steps that Marvel has taken over the years to get back the characters that they have back. And now at this point, it's pretty much just Spider-Man. They have some weird rights issues with the Hulk characters and with Namor the Submariner, but pretty much
everybody loves him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but otherwise... that's a weird one. I'm like, why is that one still held up somewhere?
Well, I think everybody just confuses him with Aquaman, anyways.
It's true. He's not like Aquaman at all, but I mean, I say that he is to me, but I've read a little bit about his story and whatnot, and I don't love him particularly, but there is some
Poor guy.
There is some differences, and I expect that when they put him in Black Panther 2, which I fully expect is where he'll show up.
What?
That's one of his differences, is that Namor the Submariner, the King of Atlantis, hates T'Challa, and he wants to take over Wakanda in the comics, and so. I thought
he was a good guy.
No, his very first appearance, he's a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
And then he is a bad guy at times for Captain America until the war, when they team up as the Invaders, I think is the name that they use.
Cool. All right, so
yeah. So I don't know.
Enough talk.
Yes, it was a bummer for Spider-Man fans this weekend. Can't believe for Tom Holland. They're going to make him interact with that fucking Venom movie. I'm sure that's what they're looking to do. They're like, yep, now we've got full control of him. Let's go put him in the shitty Venom movie.
I was really hoping that they would just do the Sinister Six or do something like that. Oh, well, they could still.
They can still. They own all those characters. It's just they're not going to be able to mention... I don't know. I don't even know what the particulars of the deal are, but I imagine they're not going to be able to mention Tony Stark.
Fourth reboot, baby.
Yeah. No, I mean soon enough. Yeah, because that's their deal. They have to do it every. I think it's like, at least with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, it was something like every 3 years. You got to put out a movie every 3 years.
Oh, is that why we got those Fantastic Four movies?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They wanted to keep the rights, and that's why we got that second reboot.
And that's why we got that weird. Like Wheel of Time thing in the middle of the night, like on FXX, which was basically the prologue to the
Wheel of Time,
first book.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way these movie deals seem to have traditionally worked. Which like you've got the rights as long as you make a movie after X amount of time, and then you keep the rights as long as you keep making the movies at like some sort of interval.
What I mean, the fans need to be like, we want this fucking guy. We don't want to watch another fucking Spider-Man.
They're already worried because Sony seems to not ever want to do one of these movies without showing us Uncle Ben dying. And they're like, that's what they're like, all right, so what are all the things Sony's going to do to mess up Tom Holland's Spider-Man now that Kevin Feige isn't there producing it? And that's one of the things. It's like, oh, they'll show us Uncle Ben dying again. They'll do the third version of the Green Goblin. Yeah.
I mean, say what you will about the Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I like the first two.
What's his butt? As Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin was the fucking best.
Yeah, no.
He's the creepiest man ever.
Well, and that
he didn't need the fucking mask.
That might make a good segue into your party, because I think I don't even know who they had a Norman Osborn in the Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There was a Norman Osborn, but he never turned it into the Green Goblin. I don't even know who it was. They had some kid playing his son, playing Harry Osborn, and that was just terrible. So anyway, I think the only time we've seen Green Goblin on any screen in live action is Willem Dafoe, and I think that is the bar. And I would say that is the bar in the same way that I would say, if you look at Jack Nicholson, and you look at Heath Ledger, and then you go back even as far as, and I always forget,
Cesar Romero.
I get him and Burgess Meredith's names mixed up, even though I always know it's not Burgess Meredith because he was the Penguin. Anyway, so Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, and Heath Ledger all put their distinct mark on the Joker. And then you get these ass clowns who come around like... what's his butt from My So-Called Life? Anyway, Jared Leto.
Yes.
And now Joaquin Phoenix. I was going to say River Phoenix's little brother, but I remembered his name. And maybe he'll be good. I don't know. But I feel like there are actors who just get it with some of these iconic characters, and there are actors who don't. And I was pleasantly surprised when I walked into the pinball area of your party this weekend that there was a Batman pinball machine.
But the pinball was in the general area of the party.
Okay, sorry. The pinball area of the bar that it was in, which is where I explained that poorly. But I was pleasantly surprised to see the Batman pinball machine, and I had been spouting this theory about Jokers for about a week, and I see Cesar Romero there, and I'm like, see? That's the fucking Joker. He gets it. Nicholson got it. Ledger gets it. I don't need another fucking Joker. Unless somebody who gets it is there, similarly to the Green Goblin. If they ever get that's why, have you seen Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yes.
Okay. Did we talk about it?
Yes, we
did.
did.
Yeah. So spoilers if you still haven't seen it. Skip ahead. That's why...
Skip ahead to question mark.
Skip ahead to 15 seconds. What's his butt as J. Jonah Jameson? Only person who can play that character, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm glad they figured that out and they had him there in the post credits.
Was he in like the other two? Who was?
He was. Yeah, he was J. Jonah Jameson. No, not
in the reboot.
Not in the Amazing Spider-Man. They never had a Jameson.
Oh.
So he's the only person who's played JJ Triple J.
Yeah,
Triple J. And I'm glad of that. I would be happy if he's even if they keep rebooting it like 5-6 times, he needs a decrepit old man. Just keep bringing him back as whatever in the 2030s. He's the version of. I'd be happy.
Okay, cool.
I want to talk about your. I wanted to talk about it like 15 minutes ago, and you're like,
let's talk about
you turning 40, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, on Tuesday I turned 40.
The end. You can find the show notes for this. No. So you turned 40. Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Yeah, it was fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We went to Salem, Mass. We hung out with some friends. It was good. It was low key.
Yeah.
Because it was Tuesday.
Did you take were you off for the week?
I was off the whole week, yeah.
Okay.
I did the whole staycation.
Yeah.
Played some games.
I like that approach.
Gina and I went to Fun World. Fun World, not Fun Spot.
Okay.
On Thursday.
Did you play the Wizard of Oz?
The pinball machine?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But we did play the Austin Powers pinball machine.
Oh.
Which is, I don't know, like if they understand.
Baby?
I don't know if they understand that you can turn the volume of games down.
Oh no.
So Gina was playing some DDR, and they had Cooking by the Book from Lazy Town, by the way.
Okay. So, and is this a fair distance away from where you were?
Well, not that far, but like she's playing a rhythm game, so
right.
It's going to be a little bit louder.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had played it, and I'm like, this is the fucking loudest thing ever. And so I was playing another game, and I go, play Austin Powers. It's not loud at all. So she hits the start button, and it's like, yeah, baby. And she's like, what the fuck? So yeah, we won. I won. If you saw the giant banana when you came into the kitchen, I won this frog, little keychain.
Yeah.
It was my last 4 tokens, and they had like one of those like, it was like a skill crane, only it was It was sideways instead of like. You moved it up and then over.
Right. That's the only games my kids want to play are games that win them stuff or at least win them tickets to buy junk.
Yeah, we got between the two of us almost 1,000 tickets with
Christmas.
The remainder of our tokens,
or as my mother-in-law would say, cheese 'em crow.
Whoa, language. So yeah, I won that giant banana, and then Gina got a whoopee cushion, like it was an atomic whoopee cushion.
Oh, would it stop a hurricane?
Yes. But no, it's just a bigger, and we put it because so we just we got some Blaze Pizza, which is
now
they have the keto crust, and they also have vegan crust and vegan cheese and whatnot. So we all got our own little personal
at the mall.
Yeah, so we grabbed those, and then we headed back and we did D&D that night, so we put the whoopee cushion on the big chair in the living room in the hopes that when Dave sat down, like he would, have a gigantic fart. And we tested it out, and it worked fine. So the second time, Brian came over and he sat down, didn't make a fucking sound at all, and it didn't deflate. We're like, what the fuck? And then so we tried it again, and we put it like in a different spot, and then Dave sat down, and I think we got a little. I'm like, atomic my ass.
There was a term that I heard at your party that I then got to. It was not a pinball term. It is ass related, since you were talking about whoopee cushions and farts and things. And I ended up getting
way to get us back to there.
I ended up getting to deploy this term strategically during my trip out west yesterday on Sunday
with the kids,
and my sister-in-law and her son. And I got to use the phrase butt funnel.
A butt funnel?
Butt funnel. There was an entire conversation around the term butt funnel at your party that I don't even know if you were privy to.
I don't think I was. Was there like people that butt chug things?
No. I was told by somebody who I imagine must have picked up this knowledge by maybe bartending or waitressing or whatever, that a butt funnel is a way that is a term in bar design, right? So that a bar is designed in such a way that when it is crammed to capacity, you are funneled into an area where you have to touch butts. And then, of course, because you've touched butts, it's much easier to say, hey, how are you? We just touched butts. We can have a chat now. And this term came up because I was describing that the previous time I went to a pinball tournament with you was at a place where it felt way more cramped in terms of when you had
way more butt funnely,
way more butt funnely in terms of when you were trying to get ready to play your turn on the pinball machine.
Yeah, like Flat Tops is a little bit crammed, but Trina's where we were was it has a nice little open area, and they have the doors right there, so you can immediately go outside if you need to escape.
Yeah, and I don't want to say bad things about Flat Tops. It is a nice enough place. It's just
where
the pinball is.
Luckily, the bathroom is in the place now, and now you have to dodge people playing billiards.
Yeah.
To
I remember that. Yeah. That was.
But instead of having to go through the people playing pinball.
Okay. Right.
Which it used to be, and we used to get annoyed.
Right. So Tuesday you did the Blaze and
no, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. Okay.
And then Saturday was the day of the party.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there. It was funny. I was scrolling through Twitter, and I noticed some of the pictures that Will had taken.
Oh, okay.
Were of his parents' house.
Yeah.
And I texted him I think it was on Friday evening, and I'm like, "Hey, are you in town?" And he didn't respond.
Yeah. That was actually another topic that was coming up because and did we talk about this? There was a certain friend of yours who spoiled for you at some point the idea.
It was Paul.
Okay. I was going to try to, maintain.
I don't think he listens anymore.
Okay.
Anyways.
So Paul, a friend of yours, at a gathering we were both at
your house
at Let's Slip. Sorry, Steve, I'm not going to be able to go to your pinball thing.
Yeah.
And so you were aware from a couple weeks back that there would be a pinball thing, not necessarily which day,
right?
But there'd be a pinball thing. And so at the party, there was talk of various people's strategies for trying to make it a surprise again. And of course, Will's strategy was, as you said, just not to reply to your text. Whereas Brian's strategy,
Brian knocked it out of the fucking park.
And when Brian told me what he did, which I would like you to when he told me I was like, why didn't I fucking think of something like that? Because I had 2 weeks to come up with a reason to, like, oh yeah, Steve.
Brian's like, sorry, no, I can't. I'm going to sleep study. What?
And then he shows up at the door, and
I'm like, yeah, you're here.
Yeah. So I felt like, wow, I didn't do anything. Like I'm a bad friend. I'm a bad podcast co-host. I didn't do anything. A bad friend to your wife for not at least trying to get in on the act of making it a surprise again.
No, I think one person was enough to do that because so it was an element of surprise,
right? Yeah.
And because I think she had mentioned I don't want you to get too bummed out that too many people are saying they're not coming.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Saturday arrives. You show up. It's a nice setup. I mean, you had some.
Mitch was there. He was running the tournament.
Yeah. I had some food, which I ended
up burger and a taco.
Or? Oh my gosh, I ate so much of the food. I ate a little bit too much food.
I had a burger. Well, with. I was talking to some of the staff because I was like, yeah, I can't have any buns or anything, but I can have a burger. I guess I can put some taco meat and chicken in there and have like a burger patty as the other.
Oh, you're like doing a KFC.
I could do a double down, like only it's 10 times worse for you.
And did you?
No. I did have a burger patty, and I did have some of the taco meat and some of the chicken.
Okay.
But I also had a bunch of vegetables on the other side of the fucking table.
I like that the double down has its lifespan has continued past. I think it doesn't even exist anymore, but I'm glad that we're all still talking about it.
Yeah, me too.
Mission accomplished, Patton Oswalt.
It wasn't just Patton. Like when that fucking hit, like people were like, "What the fuck, really?"
I had eaten something on the way there because I'm dumb, and I was like, I'm hungry. Well, I got underway late, so I was like leaving at like 12:30. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad.
Well, that's a reasonable amount of time to think it would take to get there.
And so I did get something on the way, but then I got there, and the burgers looked good, so I had a burger. And had a bunch of Diet Cokes and what have you. But then it's getting closer to the end, and I see the tacos. I'm like, I can't leave and not do some fucking tacos.
You could have brought some with you.
Oh, no. This is what I did. So I was like, I want to try this weird experiment. It's not that weird, but in my head, I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm just going to do a little.
Did you say experiment?
Experiment.
Like experiment gum?
Can I remember experiment gum? No, not like experiment gum. No, so I got into my head. I was gonna try to make a kind of poor man's poutine, which is not. There's no there wasn't any gravy.
Yeah, there was no gravy.
But what I started off with was a base of French fries. Now I wanted to make this small. It ended up being
all your base of French fries belong to us.
My hope was I was just gonna make a little snack for myself. It was like 3:30, 4. That's normally snack time. And yes, there was dessert, but I think it was Brian gave me a little bit of his key lime. Was there key lime? No.
We had cupcakes.
Cupcakes? Wasn't there like a pie or something?
I don't know. I don't remember a pie.
I think there was cupcakes. There was also something else.
It was like a moon pies, I think, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, he gave me a bite of whatever it was. But I was like, I want to try this. So I started off with French fries. Now, I probably only needed like 3 French fries for this if I wanted to have the small little snack I wanted, but I did too much. So it was fries, and then it was taco meat on top of the fries, and then it was cheese and sour cream on top of the taco meat. And it was fucking amazing. And there were some onion strings in there as well, because they had onion strings for the burgers.
Oh, okay.
This was like quite literally one of the best meals I've had like all year, except that I'd already had 2 fucking meals.
What are you, fucking Guy Fieri now?
Yeah, that place, I gotta say, when I looked it up, featured on whatever Guy Fieri's show, Drivers.
Yeah, drivers, drive-ins, and divers.
Is there something in this water? No.
There's THC.
At any rate, that place was featured on his. So I got to go.
That particular one, or the one that's in Somerville?
Oh, good call. I don't know. It just mentioned on their website that they were featured.
Yeah, because Trina Starlight, there's I think 2 locations. There might be a third. I'm not sure.
So it might be the Slumerville one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I ate too much at your party, and I played pinball.
Yeah, I got a couple of non-pinball people to participate in the tournament.
And what was the at the very end? So we did the whole pinball tournament, which I have a thing to mention. But and we're at 59:43. So
maybe we could
should we continue?
We'll just say your piece, and then maybe we can continue on it more next time.
Yeah. So just to wrap up on what you were just saying, which is. That I loved that. Who was running it?
Oh, Mitch.
Mitch, yes. Okay. So Mitch was trying to get people as they were coming in, and even some of the people who came in a little bit late, like our friend Rob, got in on like the second round.
Right. Is that how he did so well?
It might have been. I loved the final bit was that all the people who hadn't played pinball who were still there were all entered into, I don't know, is like they all played one round, and whoever won, I don't know if it was like a gift bag or
there was like a Chipotle gift card or something.
Okay, yeah. So I loved that, like, even after all of that, he was like, nope. I don't know if it was him or you or Becky whose idea it was. I just loved that it was like, nope, if you didn't play, now you got to play.
Yeah.
And that was great. When it was low pressure, and everybody had seen at that point that, like, there were those of us who sucked, except for one particular game. But I'll save that for next time.
What the?
I had.
Well, we can talk about our first game, which is the one that we had to play together.
But what
I think Mark. Who was the last person? No, Becky.
Becky.
Yeah, it was the Woodburys, horribly off topic, and Mark.
No, but I think we should save it because there's more to the Batman pinball story than just our first game.
Okay, well, you almost beat me, but I came in first in that game.
You did.
That's when I was still not that drunk.
Yeah. So we're gonna save the rest of it for next time.
Sure.
All right.
I just wanted everybody to know that I beat Chris.
It's not that big an accomplishment. I kind of suck.
Well, you did pretty good. Like you came in second on the game, I believe.
Yeah. Close only counts in horseshoes
and butt
funnels.
Butt funnels.
That would be a good place to stop.
Yeah.